Alright, so the title of this video was kind of clickbaity, but I do think he's one of the best characters from part 1. And I know what you're thinking, dude, you're tripping, who the hell cares about Choji? But give me a chance to tell you the brilliance of part 1 Choji. So obviously today, we're going to be talking about Choji's character and the different elements that led to his fight and near death against Jirobo, specifically his fight against Jirobo in the Sasuke Retrieval arc and just his whole character development and arc throughout the part 1. Choji for me was always like a mid-ish tier character, but after this fight, he definitely became one of my personal favorites, and as I just said, one of the best written in my opinion. And to find out why the brilliance of Choji is so great, we have to go back to his introduction in the Chunin exams. Choji Akimichi is first introduced during the first part of the Chunin exams when Naruto introduces all 9 rookies to the audience. Naruto introduces him as the food guy, saying the dude would eat his own head if he could. The premise of food continues as the dude literally chooses to eat a bag of potato chips at the start of the second exam in the fourth death. So all he thinks about is food, right? Well, there's more to it than that. He turns out to be a pretty big coward as well. When Sakura is about to get killed by Dosu and his team in the fourth death, Ino steps in with Choji and Shikamaru. Choji is the only one that is clearly against this decision, claiming that it's not about teamwork and instead this is suicide. He attempts to run away, something not even Shikamaru attempts, considering he was supposed to be set up as the lazy dude. So two things have been established at this point, right? A, the dude likes food, and B, he's a pretty big coward if you will. The third element is shown when Zaku calls Choji fat. At first, the audience doesn't really know what just happened, but Shikamaru freaks out, and Choji makes a complete 180. The dude gets super pissed, and instead of wanting to run away now, he's raring to go. He literally wants to have a death match with the sound. He wants to clobber Zaku, right? The third element is added where he gets really mad and really makes a full 180 and just super pissed when you call him fat. He then activates his clan special jutsu with the expansion jutsu and human boulder jutsu. He still doesn't really do much, and Inoshikacho kinda get bodied before Sasuke shows up and wrecks Zaku, right? Hence, we have this sort of fourth element where he isn't much as a shinobi. This fourth element is definitely more expanded upon when Ino says that the only reason they made it past the force of death in the first place was because of Shikamaru. It's then further expanded upon when the Chunin exam preliminaries where Choji loses to Dosu and gets one-shotted in a fight that lasts 97 seconds on screen. All 3 elements are shown in this fight pretty well. First off, you have Choji scared to fight in the first place, but then is motivated by Asuma saying he'll feed Choji all-you-can-eat barbecue if he wins, and then purposely calling him fat at the start of the match to get him mad. So we have he loses, we have he's scared in the start, we have he only wants food, and he gets mad if you call him fat. All 4 elements are present in this fight. All 4 elements are again expanded upon when Choji trains with Shikamaru during the month break, where Asuma buys him free food literally every day just because he's training with Shikamaru. He ends up eating so much that he actually ends up in the hospital because he messed up his stomach and ends up with a pretty bad case of indigestion. The dude then shows up to the arena with a whole ass bag of snacks to watch Shikamaru's fight and he's stuffing his face the entire time. But here, there's a sort of 5th element that's added. He claims pretty early in the match that Shikamaru will give up, and Ino disagrees, but as we know, Shikamaru gives up against Temari, and Choji claims because of this, he knows Shikamaru better than Ino. This 5th element is more so solidified when Shikamaru becomes Chunin and he celebrates with the rest of Team Asuma. Ino and Asuma tell Choji all he ever thinks about is food, and that's not good. Asuma says he needs to train more, and Ino says the dude is too fat to get girls. Although she's one to talk because she hasn't gone anywhere with Sasuke in like 6 years. Not the point, but Shikamaru is the one that to comfort Choji after this, telling him that Ino is wrong and she is the one that needs to eat more. He tells Choji that he shouldn't take what they say to heart. He's more than fine the way he is, and it's stupid to think about things you're not. He is super supportive, and the scene is really wholesome and representative of their friendship in general. Choji goes on to say that Shikamaru is a genius and way better than both Sasuke and Neji. But Shikamaru again just shakes his head and just says he doesn't think about things like this. He is just being himself as Choji should just be himself.
Huh? Hey, Asuma says a lot of things, but don't take him too seriously. Just live your life, eat your food, and take things easy.
Shikamaru then has to assemble a team to retrieve Sasuke. He requests Jonin, as we all know, and then ends up having to pick a team of Genin. The second person he hits up is Choji, claiming that they have been on the same team for a while and hence they work well together. This is expanded on even more when Choji trusts in Shikamaru and Shikamaru trusts in Choji when they try to get out of Jirobo's Earth Dome. Naruto and Kiba are sort of turning on each other and turning on Shikamaru, yet Choji still trusts in Shikamaru during this time. The first food element is expanded on again in the scene where Choji rushes out of his house only when Shikamaru is about to eat the last fighter's potato chip, adding the second element to the first element of the food. Naruto even yells at Shikamaru for picking Choji because he doesn't believe he's strong enough, which links to the fourth element of him not being much of a shinobi. Shikamaru says Choji is a better fighter than him anyways and has more strength than all the members in the Sasuke retrieval team, which includes Neji, the genius, Naruto, the nine-tailed Jinchuriki who beat Neji, Shikamaru the genius, and Kiba, I guess the dog dude if you will. This again shows the confidence that Shikamaru has in his friend. So going into this fight, we've pretty solidly established these 5 elements of Choji. Number 1, he's all about the food. Number 2, he's kind of a coward. Number 3, he gets really pissed if we call him fat. Number 4, he is regarded by himself and those around him as not the greatest of shinobi. And number 5, Shikamaru is his best friend and has a ton of confidence in him. This quintuple layered build-up leads to almost a perfect fight for Choji. And it starts off in the Earth Dome, where Choji is just being pretty quiet and eating, at which point Naruto and Kiba both get pretty mad at him for eating, and they again yell at him for not being much of a shinobi because he spends all his time eating. Yet Choji is the one who yells at Naruto and Kiba for doubting Shikamaru in the first place, and after Neji explains what was going on, they understood that Choji was simply trying to replenish his chakra in order to break out of the dome, since the dome sucked their chakra, or Jirobo was absorbing the chakra, if you will. After this, Jirobo continues to insult Shikamaru not only as a leader, but as a person as well, at which point, out of nowhere, Choji shows up and is like, "Guys, don't worry, I got this one. You guys go on ahead." The same dude who had all 5 of them in a pretty bad spot just a minute ago, and one of the members of the Sound Four who took out Genma and Raido, Choji, shows up out of nowhere and is like, "Guys, I got this. I'm gonna take him on." The audience, along with the other members of the squad, are like, "Bruh, what are you doing? You're about to get completely annihilated." Even Naruto is saying like, "What the hell are you talking about? This isn't someone you can take on your own." And Neji even says the chance of Choji beating Jirobo is close to 0. He pops the green pill and actually starts bodying Jirobo in base before he goes into stage 1 and pushes Jirobo away. At which point he says, every 5-man squad, there's one who is the weakest. The one that is dead weight, and the one that everybody makes fun of and looks down upon. This hits Choji pretty hard, because this is the exact same thing that Asuma, Ino, Naruto, Kiba, and Jirova have said. Kiba even agrees with the sentiment of Choji being the weakest link on the team. Jirobo says he's the epitome of failure, and it was Shikamaru's fault in the first place for choosing him. Yet, Shikamaru is the one who again has confidence in Choji more so than anybody, and he's the only one that believes that Choji is strong. He pops the yellow pill and goes Omega Expansion, but Jirobo is still able to go second state and throw Choji around. At this point, the effects of the pill have caused him so much pain that he can barely move. Jirobo then calls him fatso, eats the last bite of his food, and says it was his friend's fault for sacrificing him in the first place. Growing up, Choji was also made fun of for being from the Akamichi clan and being rather slow. He wasn't included in games, but despite this, he's always very kind-hearted, even when others weren't to him. But he didn't have any real friends, as Choji notes. The others never had as kind a heart as he did. But one day, he'll have a group of real friends who understand that about Choji. He must cherish those friends. Those very friends were the ones who he had to win this fight for. The same friend who always believed in him, and the same friend who was always there for him even when the other kids left him out. Shikamaru came to hang out with him and was always there. The other members of the squad also now believe in him, as they leave a message for him intending that he will see it after he beats Jirobo. He pops the red pill, which will actually kill him, and it gives him a 100 times amp. This leads to one of my favorite moments in the whole show.
Doesn't matter. Slamming boulder!
Don't even try. Because now I'm 100 times stronger than before!
He says something really powerful here, which combines multiple elements from the build-up I mentioned and shows the aspect of why Choji's arc in part 1 is so good.
You can steal my very last bite of my very best food, you can mock me all you want, but when you insult my best friend, I will obliterate you!
He kicks Jirobo's ass, actually making the dude scared, something he never once felt when he was prepared to take on all 5 members of the squad in base. After killing Jirobo with a punch so powerful, the indirect force of the punch creates a literal crater in the ground. He falls over, and for once has his confidence in himself. A guy like him, looked down upon and considered to be weak, was able to win. He walks out, limping around, struggling to even stay conscious, as he sees the message written by Shikamaru, Naruto, and Kiba. As I said, one day he'll have a group of real friends, the ones he should cherish. Choji did indeed make some really good friends. He breaks into tears as he reads the message and remembers his memories with his friends. Memories with Shikamaru, Naruto, and Kiba, and the rest of his squad. Even the ones who looked down upon him, he remembered. That's just who he is, a person. Just before he falls over, as if he has died. Choji Akimichi, a kind-hearted boy, born into the Akimichi clan, bullied as a kid and looked down upon throughout his entire life. A boy who put his life on the line and proved them wrong. So yeah, hopefully I proved to you why Choji's quintuple air build-up and his fight against Jirobo is just so awesome for his character. And I guess I don't think his character arc is perfect here, and I think there's one thing I would change. It's definitely to have Choji die. That's more for the narrative of having a bigger impact that Choji actually died, not only for Shikamaru going forward into Shippuden, but also for Naruto, because like the whole point of the Final Valley was kind of that like Choji and Neji like almost died for this, so like Naruto had to win and then he didn't. I feel like the weight would have been just so much more if Choji actually died, but he was kind of supposed to. But other than that, I think Choji is brilliant, and I hope you do too now. So if you watched until the end, thank you so much for watching. I hugely appreciate it. It means the world to me, honestly. So like always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a splendid day. Peace.